Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at Action Comics number 990. Will Jor-El, Superman's father, manage to succeed where so many different villains have failed? Will he break the Man of Steel? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the comic, we find Superman still rushing around the globe trying to put a stop to a series of crises that have been masterminded by his father, Jor-El, to try and prove to him the evil of mankind. Chiefly among them, a chemical weapon attack in a poor African nation. Superman opts to deal with this problem in probably the most Superman-ish way imaginable. He grabs both the head of the corrupt government and the head of the brutal rebel group, and forces them to sit down and come to a compromise. The president says that the rebels are unclean peasants undeserving of mercy, and the rebel leader says that the president is a corrupt fat cat who hoards all the resources from everyone else. Superman basically says, hey, the two of you start being fair to each other right now, or so help me, I'm coming back. Now back over with Jor-El, he's taken in young Jonathan Kent, the Superboy. Grandpa starts to fill the young boy's head about plans for a brand new planet, a place called Bliss, wherein everyone with powers could live in absolute harmony and not have to hide themselves and their abilities like Jon is. Understandably, Superboy thinks this is a good idea and doesn't get a bad guy vibe off Jor-El right away. That is, of course, until he starts slagging off the human race and saying that Superman will never be able to save them from themselves, and that if Jon was to stay and take up the Superman mantle, he would just be inheriting a losing battle, not just because the human race is genuinely kinda crappy, but oh no, Jor-El says he has the inside track on something much worse, something much more terrible that's coming for Earth. Oh damn, he's talking about Dr. Manhattan and the Watchmen, isn't he? Oh wow, that's cool. Now back in Metropolis, Mr.OZ's most loyal followers are ready to pull off yet another chemical weapon attack, only this time it'll be right in the heart of the city where it will kill the most amount of people. Superman is close enough to put all this to an end before they can actually pull anything off, but he and the reader are left with the distinct feeling that Mr.OZ didn't really push these people that hard into their acts of violence. Now while this is going on, Lois has desperately been trying to get in contact with Superman, so much to the point that she took Jimmy Olsen's special signaler watch. They both compare notes about Jor-El and about everything else that's currently going on. It's at that moment the evil Kryptonian chooses to make a reappearance with Jon in tow. As you might have guessed, Superman is pretty ticked off at the idea of yet another supervillain trying to fill his son's head with evil thoughts and turn him against his family. And in fact, as the comic winds down, as Superman is about ready to throw a punch at Jor-El, Jon ends up getting in the way, telling them not to fight one another. Hey, you know, Jor-El, maybe if you led with the whole Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan thing, you might have gotten a little further. So that was Action Comics number 990, everybody, and overall it continues to be a super fascinating little Superman tale, even if I feel it does hit a lot of the same points from earlier issues. It is nice to see Jor-El change up his sales pitch just a little for Jon, saying, hey, you know what, I might have my own hang-ups about humanity, but what's coming next is even worse. Also, while perhaps the young Superboy is a little too easily led around, that is at least some reason for him to latch on to defend his grandfather, despite all the evil stuff he's seemingly done. Then of course there's Superman, who they do a really good job showing getting more and more worn down, what with all the terrible crises and human tragedy he's forced to avert. In such quick succession, he's a Superman, but he's a man nonetheless. Actually, this issue even goes a step further and says that this Mr.OZ thing is so huge he had to call in different members of the Justice League and the Superman family just to help out. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another 8 out of 10. So that's Superman, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, want to check out some of the other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on social media at Cape Joel, so you're always up to date on what videos I got coming out next. And hey, if you're feeling in a supportive mood, why not go down to the description of this very video and check out my Patreon page. Patrons get exclusive access to content and videos before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. And until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again later. Bye-bye.